Alright guys, today I'm super excited to review this katana here, which is going to be somewhat difficult because what do you say about the best sword ever made, right? There's only so much that you... Oh? Who are you? If you haven't bought all Christmas gifts yet, there is still time to order on Amazon. I've set up a list of recommendations: books, swords, knives, tools, and other things I've had good experiences with. And by shopping through my affiliate link in the description below, you're also supporting the channel at the same time. Alright, so I'm done testing the sword here, the Kenshin from Yomikuni.com, which looks kind of like a modern tactical take on a katana, doesn't it? But apparently it is a reproduction based off one of the over 35 swords owned by Uesugi Kenshin, who was the daimyo of Echigo province during the Sengoku period, who lived from 1530 to 1578. And according to the myth, Kenshin wanted to shorten the sword, and then in a dream a princess appeared to him and begged him not to. And he thought this was the soul of the sword telling him that it wanted to remain at this length. So what they did at Yomikuni was, you know what, screw whatever the sword wants, we're going to shorten it anyway. So this is a shorter version of the original sword, which is now at the Uesugi Museum. And they made it all black because it's easier to make and maintain that way. And so this is more katana length as opposed to the original, which would have been a Tachi. It's made of 1095 high carbon steel with a clay tempered edge. So the edge is harder than the spine, which is the way it was done traditionally. And on Yomikuni's website, the total weight is given as 1.35 kilograms, which I found is really closer to the combined weight of the sword and the scabbard. In fact, on my scale, it says 1.25 kilograms, so it's even a bit lower than that. So the weight of just the sword itself is just under 1 kilogram, slightly over 2 pounds. So it's fairly light, but due to the way it's balanced, it seems to have a certain heft. You can definitely feel the blade presence, and so it's designed to be quick to use, but still a powerful cutter. And that it is, for sure. It handles really well overall. Really just about what you expect from a well-made katana, and it has the sword wind sound. So that helps you test if your edge alignment is good. As if it is, then you'll hear that distinctive sound. And cutting tatami mats, of course, it does very well. Now, I noticed something funny when I reviewed the test cutting footage. This cuts really impressively well, and I didn't really react to it the way you would expect. And when I cut with the Principe, I was just blown away. I was like, oh man, this feels so good. And you know, you saw my reaction and everything. With this, I didn't really comment much on it. I was just like, yep, cut, all right. It cut almost as well. This is great, no doubt. But I think the reason why I wasn't as impressed is just, it doesn't feel quite as good. I did some harder testing with it to see how good the steel is, how well it's put together, etc. So abusive testing, especially this right here, which is something I would not recommend doing at all. When you hack into wood like that, there's always a chance that you twist it and then it bends. In fact, you can see that right here. So that puts a lot of stress on the blade. And when the spine is softer than the edge, there's always a certain risk that it would permanently deform. But this one held up beautifully. It's still perfectly straight. No issue with it at all. And it took all that abuse in a stride. No problem. The only issue here was that there's so much hand shock. And when you hack into something that has a certain amount of resistance, it just beats up the hand, you know, the offhand down here in particular, with the way the shock travels through the blade. It doesn't really absorb it, just kind of transfers it directly to your hand. And that makes it one of the most uncomfortable swords that I've tried for hard cutting in particular. When doing light cutting or medium cutting, like with tatami mats, no problem, you don't feel it. What you do feel is these knots here in the wrap. This feels a little harder than the silk wrap. This is either leather or synthetic leather, I don't know for sure. It feels more abrasive on the hand. These knots are quite firm and they really dig into your hand, and that's, I think, partially what beats up the hand when there's hard resistance. Also, the manuki is on the left side, which is traditional, but it always bothers me to have my fingertips resting on there. That makes the bumps from those knots even worse. So it's a little uncomfortable in that regard. What I do like, however, is the overall shape. That is perfectly fine. It allows me to really feel the edge alignment and gives very good control. You're not going to slip on this at all. So that's great. Excellent traction and all of that. Overall shape is good. It's just that that surface is not terribly pleasant, really. The blade is excellent. I have nothing bad to say about it. You can see the hamon here in the close-up, and the edge, as you would expect, is very, very sharp, well-shaped. It makes sure that there's minimal resistance as it travels through the target. So yeah, that's all good. There's no guard, which of course bothers me, but hey, the original is like that. You can't say anything about it in terms of accuracy of the reproduction. And, you know, for cutting in your backyard, who cares? You don't need that. Unless you're going to do thrusting tests on a very firm target, then the hand slipping up might be a concern, even though the way the handle is shaped and with how much traction you have, probably not really an issue as long as you hold on to it properly. It also comes with a utility knife called katana, which I can't seem to get out without tools. This is really firmly in there. There we go. So definitely a tight fit, a little too tight maybe. And yeah, not too much to say about it. It seems like a nice little utility knife if you need to open a box to get a different sword. Just kidding. It has a chisel grind, so it's only ground on one side, the other is flat, and doesn't seem amazingly sharp by any means, but it's all right. And the scabbard or saya seems well made. Overall, pretty simple, but nothing wrong with it really. This happened when I was testing it somewhere, somehow. I don't know exactly what I did, but yeah, stuff happens. The fit is just right in my opinion. It's tight enough that there's no way it comes out by itself as you carry it, but you also don't have to pull on it like a water buffalo. So it comes out nice and easy. That's just perfect. And overall look, a lot of people like this very sleek, kind of streamlined shape where nothing sticks out. This is all, you know, one curve basically. And you know, I can see it, even though I personally prefer guards. I can see the appeal of that. This is very slender, elegant, simple but effective shape, basically. So yeah, quite nice work on that. And the price, in my opinion, is very, very appropriate. In fact, more than appropriate. For something like this, I would normally expect this to go for maybe around 500 US dollars, but it's in Canadian. So this is really affordable, especially for the quality. Really, the only complaint I have, as said, is the tremendous amount of hand shock you get from it and how uncomfortable those knots are. I don't know if they will break in or not with this material. They might not, but I can't tell you. Long term, it might get better. And it's also nice to see that it's pinned with two pegs. It's got one here and the other there. Again, very, very tight construction overall. There's no movement at all, even after the abusive testing. So no rattle or anything. And you can really see just how tight that fit is right here. So that's excellent work. So if you're looking for something like this, I can easily recommend it, no doubt about it. This is definitely well made, just like the other sword from Yomikuni that I reviewed. I've come to expect high quality, and this one does not disappoint. So, as usual, the link will be down below, where you can find it. And I hope you found the review helpful and maybe entertaining. Thanks for watching, and have a good one, folks.